Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we are checking out Oxford Drum Gate 2. This is an upgraded version of Sonnox's Oxford Drum Gate, an already really powerful plugin, now with even more powerful features. Let's go ahead and check it out. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Alright, let's hop in. First, let's talk about some of the basic info when purchasing this. You will need an iLock, but that is free. You have a 15-day free trial. It works on Mac and Windows, pretty much any major DAW. And with each license, you get 2 activations. Right now, Oxford Drum Gate 2 is currently on sale on Sonnox's website for $119, but you can get discounts at other places like Plugin Boutique. And if you purchased the first version recently, you can enter in your email to see if you can get a free upgrade. I was able to because I actually just bought Oxford Drum Gate not too long ago. So if you're looking to upgrade, definitely check that out. So unlike other threshold-based drum gates, the Oxford Drum Gate 2 uses some pretty cool technology to be able to better capture your whole performance without allowing for bleed or mistakes to happen. So things like your accents, your ghost notes, all of the little things that add up to your overall performance gets captured much easier. You're not fighting the program. The program's working for you pretty much. Now I have a drum recording open in Pro Tools, so let's go ahead and see what we can do about this drum recording. So right now I have it on every single track right here. They're all bypassed, so let's just hear what it sounds like. Only thing changed right now are the levels. Let's go ahead and have a listen. Yeah, so those toms could definitely use some work. All right, sounds like a drum recording. So I'm going to go ahead and turn all of these back on, and we'll see what this thing's capable of. All right, so before we do a deep dive into all the new features, we'll just go over very briefly some of the things that they kept that are mostly similar. So I'll just go ahead and open up the original and the new version. So right away, you can tell that there's not too much different stuff. There's a few differences. So for instance, in the first one, we had our match transients to try to better match the sound of, say, like your kick, your snare, your tom. That's just consolidated into this menu right here. We actually have some more options now. We have kick, snare, tom, hats, and then all. You still have your horizontal scrolling meter right here with your threshold on the left. The transient settings you see right here, they were in this little sub menu right here. They're on display in the front now. You also have your learn unmatched and remove matched, except in the new version, it's just learn and remove. It's the same features. You can loop back certain pieces of your recording to either learn new transients that didn't make it through or remove transients that did make it through that we don't want. Now for the decay menu, it's pretty much the same, except now we have 2 different modes. We have standard mode, which will just follow whatever settings you put, and then we have adaptive mode, where it'll actually adapt to the sound of the drum that you're gating to try to get a more natural sound out of it. That, and we have a high filter damping scroller to control the high end a little more. Now for the leveler menu, it's just called level now in version 2. We have the same controls, except now we have an auto set leveler, and what that'll do is if you play a certain part of your track, it'll detect the transients, the volume, and it'll automatically make these settings to get the best results, which is pretty awesome once we look into it later on. Also, if we look at the loud and soft targets here, you'll see we have a new adjuster called hit clip, and you can actually adjust the gain to intentionally clip the transients that you're working with. You can get some pretty cool sounds out of this, and we also have an auto gain for that as well. Now we do have a new menu for the second version, and that's the align menu. And honestly, I think this is the greatest addition to this tool, because now you have a 2-in-1 situation. You have a gate, controlling the transients, and you have an alignment tool to make sure everything is in phase. When we check that out later, we'll hear the difference, and it is night and day. It's really cool. All right, so let's start with our kick, and we'll go ahead and start tweaking the levels and see what we got. All right, so I think that level's pretty good there. If you've noticed, there's two views down here. So there's detect view, which is, it's just picking up the transient, and classify view. It's actually learning the frequency. So right here, it's detecting that these are kick drum sounds. And so anything that comes above this that sounds like a kick drum will pass through. Anything below will be gated. So that looks good right there. Kicks coming through nice and clean without much bleed, so we can just leave that. So now we'll check out our decay. So first we'll tweak it in standard. Since we're working with the kick, we'll probably want to let pretty much all that in. Hear a little bit of that snare. Let's get rid of that. Let's go ahead and change these settings up. Now the soft target's not going to do much since most of these kick hits are pretty good. So let's hear what it sounds like when we push this hit clip. All right, we're sounding pretty good. As you can see here, we also have an auto gain setting for the hit clip, so it'll adjust so doesn't get too out of hand. That's on by default. We look pretty good there. Let's move on to the snare top. So we'll go ahead and give that a listen. And we'll just start adjusting. We'll hit snare. Let's see. All right, same thing. Our snare top is coming through really good, so that works out. Now, I like a little ring in my snares, so we're going to try to bring some of that back because it is getting kind of choked out. This chart right here, this visual chart you see, is also really helpful for finding out which frequency that ring is coming through. So that sounds pretty good. Let's hear how it sounds in adaptive. Yeah, so it seems like the adaptive doesn't sound as good. Standard sounds a lot more natural to me. I kind of like the way this sounds. And in level, we also have an auto set leveler, so we'll just play a part. Let's find one with some pretty even hits. An Oxford Drum Gate will just scan each one of those hits. It'll learn it, do its thing. And boom, we have a more optimized drum sound with literally just one click of a button. Let's hear how that sounds bypassed. And then we'll hear what Oxford Drum Gate 2 did with the offset leveler. Really, really cool feature, if you ask me. All right, we'll move on to the snare bottom. Forgot to turn that on. Yeah, so really, the way Drumgate 2 is set up, it's really easy to be able to get everything right. Because here, everything is separated perfectly, so you just need to get your levels. Once you get that, you come in, do your decay. And in a few seconds, it's already sounding a lot better than you were before. It's really amazing. We'll try the auto set leveler on this as well. These hits look pretty even. We'll go back here. We'll hit auto set leveler. We'll let it do its thing. Let's push the hit clip, see what that sounds like. Awesome. All right, now that we got our kick and our snare going, let's check out the toms. Now, fair warning, I'm not the greatest yet. I'm still learning. Very new. These tom recordings, they're not the greatest. There's a lot of bleed going on, especially on the floor tom. But we'll see what Oxford Drum Gate 2 can do about that. So we'll start with the rack tom. We'll go solo that. Let's go to where there's a few more tom hits. We'll go here. And we'll just go ahead and start tweaking. So as you can see, detect mode is pretty much straightforward. It's the decay, especially for really resonant drums, is really where you want to be paying attention to and putting all of your effort into. Yeah, so as you can hear, there's still some bleed coming through with the snare, but it's much better than it was before. Let's go ahead and hear how that sounds without it. Yeah, see, there's kind of that ongoing ring, a lot of the snare coming in. Bring it in. So, I mean, I think what I could have done is maybe hit a little harder because I know a lot of these soft hits, it's bringing the snare in. So you can improve what's coming in, by just having a better performance. Like, it's really good, but just remember this is not a Band-Aid fix for terrible playing. So just make sure that you're always getting a good recording in. If you get a good recording in, you're going to have a breeze in this plugin. All right, back to it. We'll just get our levels. We'll just try the auto set leveler because why not? It's a really good tool. We'll just throw it on everything. All right, last but not least, our floor tom. Let's go ahead and get that dialed in. Yeah, so as you can see here, there's still a lot of bleed coming in, but we can fix that. Yeah, I think in this case, I probably would have just re-recorded it to get a cleaner take on the toms, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and auto set these levels on here. All right, now that I got all my close mics optimized, you're probably thinking, but Sam, please don't tell me that you're going to gate the room and the overhead mics. Well, yeah, I wouldn't do that, at least not most of the time. So you're probably wondering why I have a plugin on there anyway. That's the perfect segue to talk about the next thing, which I actually think is the coolest new feature. in Oxford Drum Gate 2, which is the Align tab. As you noticed, I was avoiding it because I was saving it for last. But Oxford Drum Gate 2 has a built-in phase alignment tool, and the greatest thing about it is it actually communicates with all of the other plugins that are open on your other tracks. So as you can see right here, we have all of our plugins on each track. We have our kick, we have our snare bottoms, we have a tom, and we have our overheads and our room. And this thing works like an absolute charm. We're going to go ahead and check it out because it's really a wonderful thing. All you have to do is click Analyze, and it'll analyze this. So for our overheads and our room, to get that ready, all we have to do is go to those plugins and go here, and it'll say input normally. But for here, you can say alignment only. Go ahead and set that up. Source input, alignment only. Go here, alignment only. So now our room and our overheads are bypassing the gate now, and they are being set up only for phase alignment. All right, and another thing in the Align tab is you'll see for the overheads we have the stereo link button. Now when that's turned on, which it automatically is, it'll align the overheads first, and then everything else will be aligned based on that. So if you have a stereo image that you're working with, so right here I have overhead left and right, it'll be better to just leave that on. It'll get better results that way. And for this, it doesn't matter which menu you're in. As long as you're in the Align menu in any one of them, it'll work. So you'll go to a spot that you want. We'll just start from the beginning. We'll hit Analyze, and we'll just let it do its thing. All right, that's pretty good. Now it says time shift and phase rotation are being applied. Click Analyze to recalculate. All right, so now we have the adjustments it made. Kick was in phase. Snare top and snare bottom, they're pretty close to being phase. As you can see, our overheads and our room definitely needed some work. But now we get to hear it all come together. Watch this. So we are going to play back. I'm going to hold it down to bypass it, and we're going to hear what it sounds like bypass, and then I'm going to let go, and we'll hear what it sounds like with the phase alignment settings on. So here we go. All right. And here's what it sounds like. Instantly, the kick is way punchier. The snare has so much more personality and life into it. We'll go to another part. Let's go here. Bypass it. Sounds like. Leagues better, absolute leagues better than what it was before. This is the coolest thing that they added, and it doesn't even have anything to do with noise gating. So with just a few basic tweaks and the new auto level settings, we went from a recording that sounds like this to one that sounds like this. As you can see, it does not get any easier than that. We haven't even touched EQ yet, or compression, or other settings, and already it sounds much better than it was before. Now we're prepped, we're ready to continue on in the mixing process for these drums, and we won't have any problems down the line once we have everything set up. Now, I'm not sponsored by them. I just really love the product. If you are looking into mixing drums, you're going to need a good drum gate, and you're going to need some good phase alignment because the alignment's always going to be off. And this product offers both solutions in one. So really, I would recommend adding this to your arsenal. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you never miss a new video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.